from Dead Price Picks, jumping on here with another DubClub TV live stream. Zeke is typically on before me. He was not able to make it today, so just going to get about 45 minutes of me on the camera here breaking down some games. If you guys want to hop in the live stream, that's always helps out a lot with the flow of this. So feel free to comment any questions, any games. Just want to say what's up. It is all good stuff. Just give me 1 second, guys, while I'm going to share this with everyone else on Twitter just to get people into the stream. So just give me a second to tweet this out, and then we will dive into tonight's game. We're going to get into tonight the big-time NFL game that we have between the Ravens and Chargers, and we'll talk a little bit through some NBA, some props as well. I will share my screen for most of this, pull up DraftKings, pull up some of the tools that I use from OddsChecker, and a couple other things as we navigate through the stream. But let me just tweet this out, and then we will be live. All right, we'll get this rolling in 1 second. We're going to build a monster lotto to start off because that is what the people want. We want these big tickets to hit. All right. Also, guys, running a free trial right now. So if you're just jumping in, a free trial that I am running until Black Friday. So you're going to get all the picks free, all VIP picks completely free, straight bets, lottos, props, all sports. In my opinion, this is one of the best weeks of the year from a sports betting perspective because we are getting feast week here. We've had college basketball games all morning. Right now, Memphis and UConn playing big time game. We get some, really big time matchups in college basketball. Of course, Thanksgiving with football on all day. Newly, we have the Black Friday football game as well. I think it's the Chiefs and Raiders this year. But tomorrow, looking at the matchups for college basketball, Houston, Alabama. That's 6 against 9, and then number 1 Kansas taking on number 11 Duke. So some outstanding games. That's going to be through the week. One of the best weeks of the year. So if you guys are in this, go below this tweet, and then you guys can access my free trial until Black Friday. We currently have almost 2,000 people on this, so a ton of people buying in. Really appreciate that, and looking to continue delivering these winners. All right, I'm going to share my screen, guys, for most of this, as mentioned, and we're going to start with looking at DraftKings. So I will pull up my DraftKings. We're going to build some live parlays out here on the show. As mentioned, if you guys have any questions, feel free to head to that comment section. Comment, let me know if you guys are liking these plays. If you guys want to talk about something else specific in the game, really whatever you guys want, we will dive into as this goes on. So right now we're looking at this matchup between the Baltimore Ravens, Los Angeles Chargers. Interesting matchup. A few storylines right off the bat. Obviously, the brothers taking on each other, John and Jim Harbaugh. Both teams this season, great starts. Great starts this season for both of these teams. The Chargers, the more surprising of the two. They went 5-12 last season, firing their head coach, which obviously opened the door for Harbaugh. But a really encouraging season right now if you are a Chargers fan. And a win tonight keeps them in contention in the AFC West. Long shot with the Chiefs at 10-1. But more importantly, right now, if we're looking at the playoff picture and where they fit in, currently 5th in the AFC. But it's important to note the Broncos right there at 7th. They're 7-5. And the Ravens, this is a big game. This game could go a long way for playoff positioning in the AFC. Technically, right now, the Ravens trail them in the loss category with 4 losses. Obviously, the Ravens have played 1 extra game. So a win tonight would tentatively put the Chargers at 8-3, which would give them a 1.5 game lead over the Ravens, and it would give them a full 2-game lead over the Broncos. So those playoff spots, it's going to get tight out there. We know that. And right now, this game tonight will go a long way for both of these teams. So that's a start that we're going to get into. I am just going to share this again, guys. Sorry, my first tweet. I don't know if that went live. There we go. My connection was not great. But it does say we have about 600 people in, so hopefully that one went out. But anyway, those are the storylines in this game tonight. The spread for this one is 3 points. So the Chargers at home. One thing you want to note, like last night, the Eagles played at the Rams. No offense to these LA teams, but it's not a true home advantage like it is if this game were to be in Baltimore. So last night it was kind of taken over by Eagles fans. Don't be surprised if it's kind of a mixed crowd tonight for this game. But nonetheless, the Chargers technically will be the home team. and let's dive into it. So what we're going to start with, guys, we're going to build out a parlay here. I'm going to build it right here. It's going to pop up. Hopefully you guys tail this, lock this in. After the video, I will tweet the sharing of the link in case you guys want to just copy and paste it. So don't feel like you have to be building this, because I know if you're watching the stream and also building at the same time, there might not be enough screens. So I will attach the link after this. But let's build it. Let's dive into it and see what we can come up with here on the stream for some live bets. After this, we'll talk about some props. I'm also, like I said, going to pull up my plus EV tool that I use every night from OddsChecker. That's going to get you guys all the best plus EV bets for today, which will help you guys a lot in terms of what to lock in. We're going to look at the betting splits as well on oddschecker.com/us. So we'll dive into a little bit of everything, and we'll have some fun with this. So we're going to start this with the TD market. Of course, tonight, Derrick Henry leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns, minus 220. That's going to happen every game. We're going to leave him out of this one. I do have him in a couple other slips. The likelihood of Henry scoring, obviously, extremely high. There's a reason he leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns. In the Ravens kind of offense, he fits in perfectly. It's been a match made in heaven, quite frankly. So, Henry's had an outstanding season. I do expect him to score before this lay. We're not putting in him at minus 220. We are going to target the rookie, Ladd McConkey, here out of Georgia. So something I want to look at, like I talk about a lot, guys, snap counts is something I really value when I'm looking at these props. And especially a guy to find the end zone. We want to also look at how heavily they're used in the red zone, all of these different things. So for McConkey right now on the Chargers, this is a team in the offseason completely regrouped. They go away from a couple of veterans in Keenan Allen. They go away from Austin Eckler. So opening up the door for some guys like McConkey. Quentin Johnston's had a really solid season. But let's just look at purely snap counts the last couple of weeks. McConkey's pretty much all season, with the exception of one. I don't know if he was injured in that game or what happened, but he only played in 49% of snaps in week 2. With the exception of that, he's been averaging around 70, a little north of 70% of snaps per game. And as mentioned, if you look at this from a pure target standpoint, he's been the favorite guy in that offense. In terms of receiving yards, favorite guy in that offense. So a lot to like there in terms of the volume that the rookie has seen, and I expect more of that tonight. So we're going to get into this parlay, starting it with McConkey to find the end zone at any time, and I'm going to just share this one there, so now we're good. But McConkey to score anytime. Another guy that we're going to target in this game, Rashad Bateman. I'm going to tell you guys about this in a second, because this is a bet that came from our plus EV tool, and I apologize on the screen. I realize it's not showing us the current line. I have no idea. Sometimes it does this. Let me actually just try real quick to see if I open it on another browser, but sometimes it doesn't pop up for us to see. Yeah, it says, sorry, your picks cannot be parlayed, but as we know, you can parlay on these. So let's see if I clear it. Still not doing it. All right, so I'll update you guys on these odds as we go along, because the odds are obviously there. But I don't know why it is not popping up on the screen. So currently, with McConkey anytime touchdown and Rashad Bateman, our bet slip right now, we're going to see what that is at. It is at plus 750. So those are the first two legs. As mentioned, though, our plus EV tool that I use, if you guys are not familiar with EV betting, it's expected value betting. So we're basically just trying to look at the implied odds from the book and then our AI probability and use those numbers to find expected value on the bet. Bateman has seen a ton of volume this season, 527 snaps per game, or not per game, that's impossible, total this season for Bateman. And if you look at his percentage, 80% last week, that was the third most snaps that he has seen in a game this season. A lot of volume from him. Deontay Johnson, when they went out and added Deontay Johnson, I think a lot of people thought he was going to be the number 2 receiver, right? Had some great years in Pittsburgh, was having an okay year in Carolina. I don't know what's happened to him in this offense. He actually played in 30% of the snaps in week 9. After that, 8 and 18%. He has played in 16 total snaps over the last 2 weeks. The volume just hasn't been there for him. The next guy up actually is Nelson Aguilar. So it's been kind of a blend of Bateman and Flowers. Bateman, in terms of snap counts, it's been there. Lamar trusts him in this offense. I do think the Ravens score a lot of points tonight. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I think Bateman has a lot of value in this game to find the end zone. So Rashad Bateman, anytime touchdown, again, that gets us to plus 750. I just said I think the Ravens are going to score a lot in this game. And here's a guy that we've forgotten about a bit, Isaiah Likely. Now, this one's going to get us to where the parlay really starts boosting up, because now we're at 43 to 1 odds. Remember, this is going to end at 60 to 1. Likely's a guy that in week one looked like, okay, hold on. Everyone was going out in their fantasy leagues, picking up Likely, all this stuff. And I understand why he had that great game. Since then, a lot of people have kind of written him off, not for a lack of volume. He is still playing in a lot of snaps. He has 385 total snaps on offense this season. Mark Andrews is 426. Not a massive difference if you look at their snap counts this year. They're not separated by that many. And Mark Andrews has come to life much more effectively in the last few weeks. And this also includes week 10 when Likely did not suit up. So, in terms of total snaps prior to week 10, they're basically mirroring each other. I think the volume will still be there for Likely tonight, and the target share should be there for Likely tonight. This is a dangerous guy. They also do like to use Charlie Kolar, the rookie tight end. He's played about 200 snaps this year. So I understand, if you're a bit, murky with this play in terms of, oh, do I want to put this in because, just how much volume is he going to see? I believe Likely plays in 60% or more of snaps tonight. Again, 49% last week. But if you look at the majority of his season, he has played in roughly 60% of snaps per game. So we should see enough volume out of Likely for him to get there. And then the last play in this one that we're going to look at, we're going to go Justin Herbert tonight. We're just going to take his regular passing yards over 263.5. And this is going to get us to exactly 60 to 1 odds. So we're going to go Justin Herbert passing props here, and we're just going to go with his basic over, his normal over 263.5 at minus 120. I know it's not popping up on your screen, but this parlay is 60 to 1. Now, as I was putting this in, it just dropped to 55 to 1. So I don't know if DraftKings is tuned in here watching us build this parlay, but the odds did just shift a bit. So 55, 60, play around with this. It kind of depends the sports book that you're going to put it on. But overall, guys, insane value on this play. I think there's no way that we could pass this up in terms of what we're getting here. Again, it is 3 guys to score a touchdown, all up plus money. But walking us through the final prop here with Justin Herbert, I think the game script's going to bode well for this prop. And what I mean by that is I anticipate the Chargers playing from behind. Great story, 7 wins. I get it. The Chargers have beat one team with a winning record, and that team is the Denver Broncos, who arguably are the worst team in football with a winning record. So it's not like we've seen the Chargers beat the Chiefs. It's not like we've seen them beat the Eagles, the Lions, a big-time team. This is their toughest test of the season tonight. If the Chargers win this game tonight, I owe them a bit of an apology because I don't think this team's legit yet. I think maybe in a couple years, as Harbaugh continues to develop his culture there, I do think they could get there because he's instilled, a lot of confidence in this team. He's done a great job in a short period of time. I just don't think they're really that good overall. And another thing with their defense, and we'll get more into this, I understand points per game. They rank at the top of the league. I get it. But again, who have they played offensively? They have not seen a team nearly as talented as this Baltimore Ravens offense. The Ravens rank second in football, 30.4 points per game. Over their last 7 games, they've averaged 30.7. There's been no dip in this team in terms of scoring. The two-headed monster of Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in the backfield, it's as deadly as any in football. I don't understand how the Chargers are going to come out tonight and slow this team down. I think Baltimore's going to have their way. They're going to move the football up and down the field. And a reminder, they're coming off a poor performance against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to have a sour taste in their mouth tonight, and I think they're going to come out and punch this Chargers team in the mouth early. That's going to bode well for this prop. So there it is on the screen. I'll leave it up for a minute just in case with anyone. I know people come in, they come out, and there's a lot of movement while we build these, but I do want everyone to get the chance. Even if you guys take a picture of it, again, I will tweet this under. Let me see if I can do that. I'm trying to build this. I will tweet this under here just so you guys can tell. But I'm going to actually try this real quick on FanDuel because the odds on DraftKings actually are now down to 50 to 1. So a big drop in the last few minutes. You guys can see the Herbert line keeps moving, right, on your screen. But all right, let's go build this again. McConkey anytime. I just want to see if I can give better odds here. The odds are much better on DraftKings. Are they? No, the odds are. So it's funny. FanDuel has Bateman at 330. DraftKings is 240, but then Likely's 340 versus 380. McConkey's 135 versus 155. I think it's going to come out pretty similar. Let me just get this last leg in with Herbert. So Herbert on FanDuel is 265.5. So we're actually getting 67 to 1 odds on FanDuel. So I'm going to tweet this under. I will also, and I'll also just tweet this out, but I want to share the link with you guys so you guys could tell this. But I will, let me just do this while I can. So we will make sure to lock this in. But again, this is a parlay that I'm putting 0.25 odds on. Put whatever you guys want on this. I just tweeted the screenshot under, and then let me share the link. And then I'm just gonna tweet it out normal too, for everyone to lock this in. All right, I just tweeted it under, but you know what? I'm gonna tweet it also under the DubClub tweet because more people will be jumping in and out. So, all right, there it is. We should be good. And yeah, now we should be good for that one. All right, so that one is in. That one's locked and loaded. So make sure you guys tell that. I love the value of this. Again, 0.25, 0.35 units on this play. Don't go too crazy on it, but lock it in, see what happens with it, and we'll see if we can make some money. I'm gonna clear this now, and we're gonna get into a couple of my props for tonight. But let me switch my screen share, and let me pull up my odds checker plus EV tool that we can look at, because this is dope. If you guys have not used this before, I want everyone to make sure that you guys check this out, because it really does help a lot in terms of my daily handicapping. But let me Monday Night Football props. All right, let me tweet this out so then you guys can get this. And we will look just at Monday night, but if you guys could see under this, you'll see that there are already other plays that you guys can get for Sunday. But we'll just talk about Monday tonight, since it is Monday, and we will dial these up. All right, so I just wanted to share that with everyone. Monday Night Football, a couple of these props are Sunday, but as I mentioned, we're going to go to today. So again, if you're unfamiliar with what EV betting is, we're looking at the expected value. So really this number here is what we're looking at. The higher, the better. And again, if you're unfamiliar, go to our website, oddschecker.com/US. Black Friday, there's going to be a big promo on this as well for anyone interested in these kinds of tools. $3 for first 3 months. You're just going to pay $3 every month. So this kind of stuff is extremely valuable. I use it every day. I know a lot of people in this industry who use Plus EV in some capacity. It's all great stuff. But OddsChecker does the best. So make sure you guys check it out. Also, you could see here the public betting splits, which is really cool. Tonight, public, no surprise, liking the Ravens. You're going to see money line bets, and then you're also going to see the total. So a bunch of that stuff. And then trends. This is new. We're going to get into a lot of this more this week, but pretty dope. You could see the green means they've won. The red means they have not gone over this number. So that's what we'll look at. And then you'll also see the AI projected numbers on these players. So, really cool stuff. The fire emoji just means, it's a trending bet. People are liking it today. So we'll look more into that. But let's look first at the positive value bets for tonight and see if we can iron out a couple winners. Mark Andrews, this is an interesting prop. I just said how I likely to score, but I think one of the two tight ends does get in tonight. So if you think it's Andrews, you can see there. Expected value at 86.55%. I want to talk about one of these props that I find really interesting. And here's the Bateman one, by the way, which we threw in the parlay. 63.49% expected value. And Bateman scored in 4 of his last 10 games. So you can see the games he scored: Dallas, Cincy. He scored actually twice against Cincy this year, and then once against Tampa Bay. So Bateman's going to, he's going to get his opportunities there. Great expected value. And there is FanDuel, as I just said, the best odds. You could also get the best odds of any sports book that we could dial up. So make sure you guys check that out. One prop, though, I wanted to specifically call out tonight is, we still got to pull it up. It's down here somewhere because I wrote about it this morning. Lamar Jackson here, under 43.5 rushing yards. So there are questions. I at least have a lot of question marks still about this Chargers defense. Again, I get it. They're ranked first, all these great things. The one area I do think tonight they're going to make it a point of emphasis is to try to take away the legs of Lamar Jackson. I trust Harbaugh enough in this game, Jim Harbaugh, in this game, to make it a point of emphasis, saying, you know what, if Lamar's going to beat us, he's going to beat us with his arm. Now, if you look at rush yards allowed per game, the Chargers are top 10, 110.5 yards per game. But I anticipate Baltimore leaning more on Henry in this game. Justice Hill's gotten a little bit more run in the backfield as well. So We'll see how it plays out tonight, but I think Lamar's under in rushing yards have value. I do like his passing over. I think they're going to throw the football a lot in this spot. Even if they're playing from ahead, I still think that later in the season, something to think about, the usage of a guy like Jackson, a lot of wear and tear. We're getting towards the back end of the year. Hopefully they, run him a bit less and less exposed for injury. So I think that's a good spot tonight on Lamar's under. Um, Another play, I saw a lot of people liking this. No surprise, J.K. Dobbins top back in that offense, but just know that that does have good value tonight if you're looking into that market. Quentin Johnston sold us a big time parlay last Sunday. All we needed from it was actually two parlays. We needed him to get like 11 yards. I think it was 11 yards after the first quarter. And that was the only leg that lost both parlays. So I have ill will right now towards Quentin Johnston. I don't know if I'm going to spike bet his unders tonight, but the EV tool loves a lot of Quentin Johnston unders in this game, minus 113 right there if you like his receptions under as well. So just another area there to call out for that prop. In a second, guys, I want to build an NBA parlay. But just give me a second here because I'm just pulling up some stats. So, around three, I'm gonna probably stay on here till around 3:40 ish. So we have about 25 minutes left, where we can kind of dial up something. But let me just look here and see if there's any other ones. There's really the only ones I'm gonna talk about. But let's go to NBA and see if we can pull this up. And then I'm gonna pull up DraftKings and we will dial up a parlay for tonight. De'Aaron Fox getting a lot of love. I like that. But let's go back to DraftKings here where I can share my screen. There we go, screen. And all right. So let's look at this. Here's the NBA slate for tonight. The Magic and Hornets, Pels, Pacers, Raptors, Pistons, Clippers, Celtics, Mavs, Hawks, Blazers, Grizzlies, Knicks, Nuggets, Nets, Warriors, Thunder, Kings. Big time NBA slate. Sneaky NBA slate. A lot of college games throughout the day. Monday Night Football. Sometimes it's easy to forget about these games. With that said, a lot of action tonight and a lot of good spots. So where we have had success this season is the prop market. We've been, solid with straights, but these parlays with the props, we can really turn these up. So we're gonna let's build a little NBA prop parlay and see if we can get one on the board tonight. Again, I don't know. Sometimes this thing's weird. It doesn't pop up where it's gonna show us our parlays. If it doesn't, I'll build it on my phone as well, and I will continue to update you all in terms of the odds. 236 is the total for this game tonight between the Mavericks and the Hawks. What that typically means is the sports books are going to think there's going to be a lot of points between these two teams. Over the last couple of years, the Hawks have been great for 240, 242, 238 kind of lines. No surprise to see them where they're at. Worth noting, no Luka Doncic for this game tonight, who was out with an injury. That's going to open up Kyrie Irving, of course, offensively. We know that. His over-under tonight is 27.5, so a high total for Kyrie. But if they're going to win this game on the road, they're going to need a big-time performance from Irving tonight. But the guy I'm targeting in this spot is going to be PJ Washington for 15-plus points tonight. Just like the value that we're getting here. I know it's minus 175, but as we're going to build a parlay, you can get away with that at times. With Doncic out of the lineup, Washington's seen a much larger role the last couple of games. Started the season injured, so he didn't play until November 16th. Look at the last two games, guys. He has played 76 minutes, 45 points combined over his last two games. Volume's been there 36 to 40 minutes. Volume shooting has been there 15 attempts in his first game back. In his first game there against the Nuggets. And then also he had 14 attempts his last time out against the Heat. Volume's going to be there. PJ's going to get his way there. So PJ Washington for those attempts, that should cash pretty easily. And then another guy that I want to target in this game, how about Dyson Daniels to get 12-plus points? And again, it's not building for me, of course, right now. But I'll update you guys on the odds here. But Dyson Daniels here, a guy that, has come over and he's been really strong early in the year for them. When he has seen time on the court, he's been pretty good. In terms of minutes, a 21-year-old kid from Australia, he's come in, he's played really well. I believe he finds his way over his number tonight. And again, we're not asking a lot from him, 12 plus points. But just give me 1 second here so I could pull this up and build it on my phone so you guys have the live odds on this. One moment while I pull this up. And then we could share this together. And all right. Just have to exit there. Okay. And then we got Daniels so far. And we got PJ. All right, so got those two in. And now we'll continue on. So Daniels is 12 plus at minus 120. And then PJ Washington. You know what? We're just going to take PJ's normal over. We're just going to take him for 17. Okay, I think we could trust him. If he ends with 15, I'll have to live with that. So far we're at plus 234. So nothing that crazy. But we're gonna get it going. We're gonna target Jamal Murray, okay? And Jamal Murray tonight for 25 plus points. This gets us over 1,000. Now I'm gonna pull this up on here as well so you guys could see it for everyone who's following the live screen with Jamal for his points tonight. Jamal Murray 25 plus. So now, yeah, like I said, we're a little bit over 1,000. So this is letting me do this, but why will they not let me add? Let's see if I add PJ if it works. Um, on this slip. PJ. No, it's weird. All right. Well, anyway, we're over 1,000 right now. 10 to 1 odds right now. That's where we're gonna start. I want to talk for a second about Jamal Murray and why I think there's just a lot of value on this play tonight. Anyone who follows me knows typically I like to go against the grain. A couple poor performances, I'll bet hey, the guy's gonna have a bounce back game. Since November 8th, so Murray scored 28 points on November 8th. He's gone over this number just once. 36 minutes against the Grizzlies there. He had 27 points. It's not for a lack of volume. He actually played 36 minutes in that game, which is the least amount of minutes that he's played where he has scored 20 points or more. But the interesting thing with Murray here is the last two games, 39 minutes against Dallas, he only scored 14 points. It was terrible in that game. 4 for 16, 4 from 11 from 3. His last game out, he was a little bit better, 5 for 12, just didn't play a whole lot because of the score. I think the volume will be there for Jamal tonight, and I think there's a good chance he finds his way over. So Jamal Murray there, 25 plus, and he owes us because the last time out, he also ruined a parlay for us. So we're going with some guys who owe us some money tonight. All right, the next guy we're going to look at a late night game, and I think this is going to be a really good game, by the way, if you're just looking for some late night NBA action to watch. Oklahoma City taking on Sacramento. Should be a big time performance tonight for both these teams. DeMar DeRozan back in the lineup. Kings props can be hard when DeRozan's back in. Keegan Murray. The thing with the Kings is they have four really good scorers, in my opinion, with De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis, and Keegan Murray. They're guys who can go out and score 20 plus any night. And if you throw in there Kevin Huerter, who's a really good shooter, another guy who can get it going, that's who we're going to target for this one tonight. Kevin Huerter, 10 plus points. So not asking a ton out of Huerter. We know as a shooter, he's one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. But again, all we're asking for here is 10 points. Just get hot early and ride this out. The reason there's so much value on this play, guys, is in terms of minutes per game. He's seen a ton. He's playing about 29 minutes per game right now. He's averaging 10.4 points per game. Predominantly, his points are going to come from three. It's going to be rare to see this guy shoot a two or anything inside of that. But he is a guy who can get to the free throw line. He's a really good free throw shooter if he gets there. But all we're really asking for is for him to knock down a couple threes and make a layup. So not asking a lot out of a guy who's going to be on the court quite often. And this is another game where I wouldn't be shocked if we see a lot of points in this game. Two teams who can play with pace, two teams who are really good offensively. So I think points are going to go around in this game, which will favor well for Huerter tonight. All right, last leg, and this is going to be what's going to really boost us up. Right now we're at 1951 on our odds if you are tracking. But this will be our final leg of this play. And we are going to call on Cam Johnson, but we're going to take him with a bit of a generous line here because we don't want to get too crazy at 18 points for Cam. But let me just put this into finalize what our line will be on this play, and then we will close this one out 18 plus. All right, so we're gonna get to 20. We're at about 28 to 1 odds here. All right, so um, I will tweet this out under, but Cam Johnson, this is a Nets team that had a lot of scoring to go around this year, with the exception of Cam Thomas. They don't have a ton of great scorers. Dennis Schroeder, veteran guy who's played well, but Cam Johnson here, 18 plus. Look at it. Let's look at his last few games. 22 points against the Knicks, 34 against the Hornets, and he had 37 on my 76ers. Outstanding shooter. And again, volume has been there, 34 minutes per game for Johnson. There's only 48 minutes in an NBA game, so he is playing the majority of these games. This is a guy who can get hot from three, one of the best three-point shooters this season in the NBA. The volume will be there for Johnson, and if he can get hot from three, this is going to be a dangerous spot. So I love the value on this one tonight. Again, about 26 to 1 odds. You can play around with this, build this wherever you want to. But, well, as right on cue, we're seeing Daniels' odds go down a little bit, and PJ Washington's odds is closed. So that's interesting. But once you can get this in, let me just double check there's not anything where, like, he's. Let me just make sure the line's still up there. I don't know why that closed. It didn't close on my. But now we're down to 24 to 1. So we were just at 28 to 1. Now we're down to 24. Um, I think we got people from DraftKings tuning in. Trying to figure this out. Let's see with PJ. Player points. Yeah, now it's taking off of here too. So there's no points. This is weird. I don't know what's going on. There's no props now for this scheme for points. Here they are, but PJ is he back? Or does now is 15 plus. So it's over. So to get 16 was. So here we go. Let's see. All right. Well, it's closed here on mine because Dyson Daniels is now closed. I don't know. This is what you get when you build props in live time. But once these unclose, we'll finalize this. Definitely interesting. Not sure. I've never had that happen honestly, where um, the props were just gone. This is interesting. Let me see. Does anyone in the chat know? Maybe someone in the chat was building it too when this happened. Yeah, nothing on PJ. I don't see anything. If anyone was building that, let me. If anyone could try to build this, let me know if you guys see anything. Also, catching up in the comments. What's up, bro? Appreciate what you're doing. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit ATD props. What's going on? Alfredo checking in as well. What's going on, bro? What's up, Bags? Hope everyone's doing well. But yeah, you guys feel free to comment. Sorry, I have not tuned into. I was trying to build these parlays, but now might be a good time to comment. Something I do want to just note that just came in on my end: Kyrie Irving questionable with illness. That will have an effect on the PJ prop. So if you're trying to put PJ in, if Kyrie doesn't play, this is kind of crazy that two of them closed while we're building these. If he doesn't play, that's going to have a major effect in this game, just in terms of his points. Because obviously if he's out, PJ's probably their top scoring option. So I hope everyone could get that in while we were building it. I was able to sneak it, and also Quentin Grimes is now doubtful with an illness. So maybe there's an illness going around that Mavericks locker room. That happens, right? Where one guy goes down and the whole squad goes down. Maybe that could be it. I do not know. I do not know. All right, well, we'll build one more, guys, and then I'm going to close this out. Um, but let's build it. I'm just going to tweet it out. All right. I think that would go. And is this good? All right. Okay, so that is through, but now this one's back and forth. All right, I think you guys should be able to put this in. Let's see if we. Yeah, you could do it if we. Is that why it is? Because it's lined up like this. I don't know. We'll build one more real quick, guys. I want to do an SGP for that. Let's do a quick SGP with the last few minutes here. I wanted to talk about college football, but we're gonna have to talk about that next week because we have so much going on. We can't even address the wild college football weekend. Maybe we can real quick. I'll test to see how late I can get this. Um, this is a game. Like I said, when you're building SGPs, and this isn't always true, but what I've noticed a lot of times these higher point spreads. If you're an overs guy and you want to watch them, if you build an SGP with unders, could obviously go the other way. But we're gonna see points in this game tonight. Two really talented offenses. I think that the Thunder are the best team in the Western Conference. I know some people agree with that. In my opinion, the favorite to win the West, but time will tell with that. Offensively, if you look at these two teams' numbers this year, they both rank above average. The Kings are averaging 114.4, OKC 114.3. So basically identical offensively. But what we want to target tonight is a quick SGP for this game, and we're just going to do it around props. Player points tonight. A couple guys I think have a big game. We were just talking about Herter, so he's going to be back in this one for tonight. Basically what I said at first, a great three-point shooter. He can heat up super quick. I think this prop just kind of explains itself. But the second guy I want to look at is De'Aaron Fox tonight, another 25-plus point game. Early in the year with DeMar, who was playing really well, he still is playing well, but, he's been in and out of the lineup. Fox, he wasn't putting up the crazy offensive numbers that we've seen. The last couple games, if you look at his stats, they are off the charts. Obviously, he had that one game where he went insane, shot the ball 35 times and dropped 60 on November 15th against the T-Wolves. But he followed that up with a 49-point performance, 28, 29, 31. This dude has been on fire. And typically, I go the other way with these kinds of plays because I'm like, okay, this can't last forever. But we're just going to keep riding with Fox until he proves otherwise, averaging 28.9 points per game. That's a career best. He's locked in right now. I don't know what's going on, but he feels good, and we're just going to continue to ride with him. So there's a couple guys in this game I do think will step up, and they'll have big-time performances. Another guy I want to target tonight, I know we all love betting shade props. I get it, but we're going to look at Jalen Williams, 20-plus at plus 290. Just like the value, it's plus 290, so it's not like the best value in the world. Before a parlay, I like the value of what we're looking at here. When you take a step back and consider what Williams has done this year, there have only been two times since November 4th that Williams has not scored 20 or more points. It's basically a layup of a prop. At least it feels like that. If you want to talk about a guy who has high usage, 33 minutes per game, his attempts are there consistently. He's consistently putting up 15-plus shots. That's what he should be doing. One of the best young players in basketball. So Jalen Williams will find his way over this prop tonight. We're going to go to the rebound market. And let me just double check again here, guys, because my phone, let me see. All right. And let's clear this. I just want to get the odds on this. Okay, sorry. It was it was buffering. It doesn't want to. All right, so 25, 20 for Jalen, and then we have our 10 for Herter. All right, so we're at plus 320 right now, and this is exactly where I wanted to be because then I wanted to add Sabonis, who has been a beast on the glass, 12-plus rebounds. That gets us to plus 500. So then we'll throw Sabonis in. Plus 500. I will tweet this under it as well. But 12-plus rebounds. This has been – look at Sabonis' stats. If you want to look at some crazy stats, especially on the glass this season, Sabonis has dominated the glass. 18 rebounds his last game, 15 the game prior, 12. If you look at Sabonis since November 8th, he has gone under this number just once. So we're following trends tonight, guys. We are following trends in this game. We're going to continue that trend with Sabonis. So that'll get us to plus 500. Again, I will tweet these out for anyone who does not have them and wants to make sure they get them because I just want you guys all – I know following a live stream, it's tough, like I said, to put these in. You could try to take a picture of it. Hopefully that'll kind of help, but yeah, hopefully this helps. So I have like a few minutes left. I will briefly talk college football. The odds are moving on Jeff, DK adjusting, Malik Monk doubtful. Yeah, that could change. some props. Yeah, the NBA is tough. The NBA is tough in that sense of like the props do change by the second because of injury. Sometimes there's just no report. Like betting the NBA at 3:40 Eastern time for a 10 o'clock game is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. So um, I get that. It could be tough, but we'll dial that up. All right, real quick, I want to talk college football because this weekend was just too good not to talk about it, and I'm going to use my last 5 minutes to talk about it, and then we'll kick it back to Shearer to close us out. But the what happened this weekend was nuts. That's the first thing. Let me make sure I take these down real quick. What happened this weekend was nuts. So many big time upsets. I think the most notable one, without a doubt, was Alabama. I was on Oklahoma plus 14 and a half, and I kept thinking, okay, this is a great middle spot. But Alabama offensively just couldn't get rolling. I mean, a historically bad offensive performance. They scored 3 points in that game. What this does, though, is it creates some fun chaos for futures. And to make the playoffs market has gotten interesting. I want to walk through a couple of plays that I'm not saying I'm necessarily making, but I want you guys to just consider and just take them. And if there is one where I'm going to make it, I'll obviously let you know. Texas A&M to make the college football playoffs. This game, if you missed this game this weekend, and I am very upset because Texas A&M were the only leg that lost me a 17-1. We put it out on Twitter. It was our night parlay. We were close. And what a game, right? I mean, I know ultimately our bet lost, but great game. Big time win for Hugh Freeze and Auburn. A&M is plus 800 to make the college football playoffs. Here's why this is interesting. A lot of people, might be like, okay, well, why would you bet that? They're out. The ranking dropped today. They have no chance. If they beat Texas this weekend, and that's a huge if, right? They will play in the SEC championship game. So as crazy as this sounds, because they're ranked 20th, they just fell 5 in the standings. They just lost to an unbeaten Auburn team. If they beat Texas, they will play in the SEC championship against Georgia. There's a chance there. So if you believe they could beat Texas this weekend, again, I'm not saying I'm making this bet. I'm just giving the information here. If you think they're going to win that game, it is worth playing. I do want to note as well, this game is in College Station. So that's why that loss for A&M was so crucial. If A&M wins that game, they're in the playoffs right now. And even with 3 losses, if they, kept it close against Texas, they have a chance. That was such a bad loss for them. You kind of feel for them. The 2 overtime go for 2 rule. It reminds me of a hockey shootout. It's fun in the regular season, but I would never want that to decide my team's fate in the playoffs. Well, it just did for A&M. So I think the way that was constructed, maybe there's a limit on like how often you do it. I don't know. They had to switch it up. They have to switch it up in some capacity. I heard some thoughts on this. Start the overtime. College football overtime is great because both teams get a chance to possess. But maybe you start it at the 50, because both teams, it's too easy just to guarantee points. We don't want a team season being decided on a gimmick 2-point play. But man, what a drop too. They had it. They had the play. It was there. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate for Texas A&M. But they have a chance. They still have a chance to get in. Their season's not over if they can find a way to beat Texas at Kyle Fieldhouse in Texas in College Station. So that's something that I just wanted to point out. I want you guys to just see that there is value there. Another team that I think is interesting before we wrap up to make the college football playoffs. How about SMU? Because I think SMU can make it in multiple ways. There is a world where if SMU does not win the ACC, they should still probably get in due to the fact that the SEC had that collapse this week. Now, they do play against California at home. Don't just write that one in as a win. Cal's a decent team. They're going bowling. They had a great comeback against Stanford this weekend. But SMU has been on a roll. They're 10-1. If anyone remembers this game, opening night, they played Nevada. They were trailing 24-13. Nevada's not a good team. They were trailing 24-13 going into the final quarter against Nevada. Nevada's 3-9 this season. Big time quarterback. That was the game. They entered the season with a quarterback Preston Stone, who was one of the best players, considered one of the best players in the American Conference. They benched him in that game for Kevin Jennings. Ends up being a great move because Jennings has had an outstanding season. They come back, they win that game. And the only loss of the season for SMU this year, it's a good loss. It's against BYU. And BYU a couple weeks ago was a playoff team. So they have a strong resume. Even if they lose, they have to beat Cal. But if they lose in the ACC championship against Miami, I think they should still get in at 11-2 because their only losses will be to Miami, who will be a playoff team, and BYU, who was borderline playoff all season. So I think SMU, basically, if they, how I see this, you're betting them minus 160 to beat Cal. And the line, actually, the money line is minus 600. So unless I'm reading this wrong, SMU should get in. I understand the ACC isn't as competitive as the SEC, but still, if you're a two-loss team in the ACC reaching the ACC championship, I think SMU should get in. Maybe because of their name, they're not an Alabama, they're not a Tennessee, they're not a Texas A&M, but they should still be a college football playoff team. So I think they should still get in. How about this? Indiana is minus 2,000 to make it. That's nuts. And I don't listen. They got a lot of help this weekend because of the SEC. But don't be shocked if Indiana somehow does not make the college football playoffs. I initially tweeted I don't think they should when they lost to Ohio State, but then Alabama lost, but then Texas A&M lost. All of these losses started rolling through. Ole Miss lost that early game in the swamp against Florida. Indiana should now be a lock for the playoffs. The sports books think they are, but they thought Florida State was too last season. I wouldn't be shocked if Kurt Cignetti's team somehow, some way gets left out. I know that's a topic of discussion. We had a lot of discussions on it on Twitter this week. But yeah, I would not be stunned. I would not be stunned if Indiana does not make the college football playoffs. They are a 30-point favorite against rival Purdue at home. They should win that one, but they need to win that one by 30. They need to cover the spread. But listen, they got blown out against Ohio State. I know people were arguing with me. It was not a close game. They were honestly lucky they lost by 23. Ohio State was in the red zone multiple times early in that game. They turned the ball over on downs inside the red zone to start that game. They had another drive where they threw an interception in the red zone. So they could have easily put up 50 points on Indiana and won that thing 50-14. I don't know. We'll see. But Indiana, thanks to what happened in the SEC, they should be a lock to make the playoffs. So yeah, there's a couple lines. Miami there, minus 240. Don't sleep on Clemson. Even Clemson isn't at large right now, has life. Looked like they were way out of this a couple weeks ago. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. The committee has a tough job. We don't. All we have to do is watch these games and bet on them. So our job's easy. But we'll see how this all plays out. All right, well, we had a lot of people in, guys. We had over 5,000 live. Really appreciate everyone for taking the time out of their day, whether you were in here for 2 seconds or watched the full 48 minutes that we were on. I really appreciate everyone who takes the time out of the day to join these things. I do want to give a couple of shout-outs real quick just to the DubClub, making sure you guys check it out under this stream. We did link on DubClub's tweet the trial until Black Friday. So if you're still hanging out in the stream, go to the original tweet that DubClub sent out and make sure you guys take advantage of that. Like I said, we have a ton of people in there right now. Join the Discord. It's always a good time. We're cooking up winners. We have Feast Week, which is the best week of the one of the best weeks of the season. So college hoops all day, NBA all night, football all night. We're going to build a lot of parlays. We're going to build a lot of straights and make some money. So make sure you guys check that out and share. We'll close it out. Let me stop sharing the screen. I didn't even see it.
You just said everything I was going to say right there. It's Feast Week. College football is unbelievable right now. The committee has a lot in front of them to try and figure out what they're going to do. And like you said, we have the easiest job. We just get to enjoy it. And honestly, probably bitch at them on Twitter. That's part of our job. They're going to get it wrong no matter what to some group of people. And that's the beauty of college football. I am a bigger fan of the NFL at large, but if you're not a fan of college football and at least watching this 12-team playoff system, it just happen for the first time, you're missing out on arguably some of the best drama and sports narratives that have ever existed. So this is the best time. Matt has a free trial. It's right underneath our stream. Going to be a hell of a week, hell of a next couple weeks. So definitely get in there and see what he's on and start tailing somebody who does this shit for real. So Matt, I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much for this. And best of luck this week. Let's feast.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Yeah. Thanks for having me. And let's make some money.
Sounds good. See you, brother.
See you, bro.